What is James Harden historically his biggest knock, his biggest criticism?
The playoffs, maybe?
Correct. I do think that being intentional to start the games well, but also finish, especially in your first game, was huge. It wasn't just James Harden, it was also Donovan Mitchell, because a lot of eyes are going to be on Don as well. Because you make this move, you say, all right, you get 10 years older, but maybe that's better, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit more experience.
James Harden's second game as a Cavalier. Denver on the road without Evan Mobley, the same Nuggets team that bounced his Clippers in Game 7 last season, a game where he scored 7 points. This time, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 blocks, and a game-tying 3 with 32 seconds left. Cleveland won. And suddenly, this trade does not look so crazy anymore.
Harden now, leaned on by Hardaway. James Harden goes to work, step back, got knocked down. Nothing called, but Harden buries the 3, and we're tied at 117.
The Cleveland Cavaliers just moved Darius Garland, the first big piece of their rebuild. He was there before the hype, before the big hopes, and before the playoff runs. They traded him for a 36-year-old James Harden. At first look, this seems totally crazy. It looks like a panic move that could hurt the team for 5 long years, but that is not what is happening here. This trade is all about a ticking clock. Donovan Mitchell's future is not certain. The roster had slowed down and stopped being good enough a long time ago. Whether this works or not, everything in Cleveland has changed. Before we talk about what Harden brings to the team, you have to understand the real mess Cleveland was facing. The Garland situation was much worse than most people know. Picked 5th in 2019, Garland was an all-star before Mitchell even got to town. He was supposed to be the team's foundation. Then Cleveland added Mitchell, and suddenly they had 2 small guards sharing the backcourt. That caused real problems. Last season, when Garland was playing, the Cavs were strong. The offense was great, nearly 10 points better than their opponents. The defense was okay, nothing special, but solid enough. Here is where things get very interesting though. When Garland sat on the bench for over 1,330 minutes, Cleveland actually played better. Their rating jumped up. The offense dropped a little, but the defense became elite. They were over 7 points better than their opponents on defense. With Garland and Mitchell together, the rating was good. With Garland alone, it was slightly better. But with Mitchell alone, the team was at its absolute best. Every version of this squad played better defense when Garland was not on the floor. This season, the stats got even uglier. With Garland playing, Cleveland's defense was at its worst. They were outscored every time he was out there. By that point, the data was very clear. Garland had become a defensive problem, one of the weakest defenders in the whole league. Then there's the size issue. Having 2 small guards like Garland and Mitchell is something history says almost never wins a title. That pairing worked in the regular season, they won games and the offense looked cool. But when the playoffs started, it all fell apart. Every single year, the same defensive holes showed up. For every good thing they did on offense, they caused a big problem on defense. Playing top teams with 2 small guards made everything too hard. That imbalance led to 3 straight years of sadness in the postseason, and injuries made things even worse. Garland has a long history of getting hurt. Ankle problems, back injuries, and then a fractured jaw that put him on a liquid-only diet. Last year was his healthiest season, but even that did not last. A toe injury followed him into the playoffs. It limited him to just 26 games this season. So when Cleveland's bosses sat down for a cold, honest talk before the deadline, they all reached the same conclusion. Then add the pressure of Mitchell's free agency. His contract could end soon, making every game feel urgent. Mitchell loves Cleveland, but he also wants to win a championship. He would be right to leave if this team could not play at the highest level. So the Cavs made a huge trade, Darius Garland and a pick for James Harden. When you see the problem like that, the trade stops looking crazy and starts looking like the only smart move. This is Harden's 6th team in 17 years. He's 36 years old and coming off time with the Clippers. At this age, people always ask how much he has left in the tank. But here's the thing. Everywhere Harden goes, he makes his team better. Cleveland believes he gives them the best chance to win right now. Let's look at his numbers. Harden is scoring 25 points and giving 8 assists this season, which is more than Garland was doing. He led the Clippers to a great 15-4 run recently. He's past his prime, sure, but he's still playing like a star. He even got MVP votes last year. More importantly, he's actually healthy. Harden played nearly every game recently, while Garland missed 25 of the first 51 games. Then there's his size. At 6'5" and 220 pounds, Harden changes the math for Cleveland. He's not a great defender, but he's big enough to hide in a good scheme. Teams bullied Garland because he was too small. Harden can hold his own against most players. That size helps on offense too. Cleveland's biggest problem was a lack of pressure at the rim. No guard could consistently drive and score at the hoop. There were too many jump shots. The Cavs were very low in shots at the rim. Harden changes that right away. He still has that rare mix of strength and control that lets him get to the basket. This season, he's one of the best in the league at driving to the rim. He finishes at a very high rate. That alone fixes a massive offensive hole. Then there's his elite pick-and-roll game. Cleveland had not been a big pick-and-roll team, but with two strong bigs and Harden running the show, that is about to change in a big way. This is a guy who has been one of the best pick-and-roll players in the league for over a decade. You could see it in his first win over Sacramento, where he had 23 points and 8 assists, but the box score did not show half of it. He was always giving the ball to guys running to the rim, whether it was Jarrett Allen, Jalen Tyson, or Craig Porter. He handled traps calmly, took the pressure, and passed the ball at the perfect moment. By the end of that game, it was clear Cleveland was building a new system around Harden's pick-and-roll skills, and the momentum stayed strong just 2 nights later against a much tougher team, the Denver Nuggets, on their home court. In a loud place and without their star big man Evan Mobley, the new-look Cavs pulled out a tough 119-117 victory. Harden was once again a main part of the win, hitting the game-tying 3 with 32 seconds left and finishing with 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. Maybe most impressively, he added 3 blocks, showing the defensive help his big size brings. The trio of Harden, Mitchell, and Jarrett Allen combined for 76 points, proving they could carry the team to a win against the league's best. He also changes how teams try to guard Mitchell. With Garland and Mitchell both under 6'3", teams felt okay sending fast double teams. They knew Cleveland could not always make them pay for it. With Harden on the floor, doubling Mitchell becomes way more dangerous. You cannot leave Harden open, and if you double Harden, he's going to make you pay almost every time. This season, the Cavs have lived and died by Mitchell. With him on the floor, they're much better. Without him, the offense fell apart. Harden gives Cleveland a real engine in those minutes, a guy who can make good shots for himself and others on almost every play. The real question is whether they can fit together in their styles. Cleveland plays a very fast and moving system under Kenny Atkinson. Harden has done best in slower, one-on-one offenses for most of his career. Somewhere there's going to have to be a middle ground. Both sides will have to change, but Harden has done this before. He played well with Chris Paul in Houston and shared the ball with Kyrie and KD in Brooklyn. He knows how to play with other big stars. Atkinson is not worried. As he said, great players fit together. When you have smart players, it makes it a lot easier. Mitchell and Harden are already on the same page. According to top reporters, the two spoke for a long time the night before the trade was done. By the end of it, both were sure this was something they wanted. Mitchell made that very clear. He told the media, "We all know what he brings, but with that, there was a hope of what we have to do. We were not able to get it done for the past 3 years, and now the goal is to try and get it done. This is the time. Gotta go out and do it." Look, I know what you're thinking, and I would be lying if I said this part does not matter. Harden's playoff history is not great. Ever since the trade happened, his critics have come out in full force, and honestly, that is fair. Harden has never won a championship. Some of that comes from bad luck and things he could not control, but some of it is on him because as great as he has been in the regular season, he has a reputation as an unreliable star in big playoff moments. His career playoff numbers look solid on paper, but the full story is different. Game 7s are when stars should step up. For Harden, it's been the opposite. Last season against Denver in a big Game 7, he scored only 7 points. The Clippers got blown out. Harden was invisible. Since 2020, he has played in 4 Game 7s. In those games, his scoring and shooting dropped a lot. In the regular season, he's a star, but in those games, he struggled. That has happened with 4 different teams. It's not just Game 7s either. In games where his team could lose and go home, Harden has often gone missing. After that Denver loss, he didn't even speak to the press. He knew. But the situation is everything. While that playoff failure is part of his past, his first game in Denver for Cleveland told a different story. In a hard-fought win, Harden was a huge part of beating the very team that had sent him home before. He finished with 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. It was a game that showed that with a new system and a star like Mitchell, the past might not repeat itself. That reputation is real, which is why Cavs president Kobe Altman talked about it. He said there are some big games Harden wishes he had back, maybe 5 really bad games out of 173 playoff games, but overall he raises the team's level. It's hard being the main guy on a title team. The good news for him is he has another main guy right next to him. That last point might be what saves Cleveland. A healthy Donovan Mitchell taking the pressure off Harden might be the key to their success. Is Mitchell the best teammate Harden has ever had? No, he has played with Durant, Kyrie, Kawhi, and Chris Paul, but timing and health matter most. In Brooklyn, the stars were never healthy at the same time. With the Clippers, Kawhi was often out. In Houston, CP3 was not the same kind of scorer as Mitchell. When those Rockets reached Game 7, Harden had to do everything. In Cleveland, that will not happen. His job is to run the offense, control the speed, and keep Mitchell fresh enough to win late. That is a massive difference. The Cavs still have Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, 2 bigs who should love playing with Harden. They have Jalen Tyson getting better too. They have many ways to punish defenses when Harden gets attention. That matters when the pressure is high. It gives Cleveland ways to win even on Harden's bad nights. But make no mistake, this is still a big gamble. Cleveland is betting Harden will share the ball when it matters, that he will trust Mitchell to finish, and that his ego will stay out of the way. The Cavs are hoping this time is different. Like his Brooklyn days, he will let the faster scorer carry the load when it counts most. And Cleveland didn't stop with Harden. By trading other players and picks, the Cavs also brought in Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. And suddenly, this team looks very different. It's deeper, more balanced, and has more scoring from the bench. Schroeder is a proven bet. He has been traded many times, but he's a great scorer for the second unit. The Lonzo Ball experiment just didn't work. His shooting and speed were gone. Schroeder fixes that. In Sacramento, he was solid. He can score for himself and others, and he knows how to win. He led Germany to a big world title. Then there's Keon Ellis, who is a bit of a mystery. He was undrafted, but his defense is amazing. He's one of the best at getting blocks and steals. He makes life very hard for the other team's guards. His scoring is still growing, but he can shoot. He hits a good number of his threes. That mix of defense and shooting is exactly what Cleveland's bench needed. With Mitchell in his best years and the East wide open, Cleveland is getting up the future for a real chance to win right now. Putting 2 players with this much talent together gives them one of the best backcourts in the league. The message from the front office is clear. They chose winning now over waiting. Cleveland is not being patient anymore. They're going for it. This Harden trade is a big statement. Cleveland is telling the whole league they are serious about winning a ring. They're done waiting and hoping for magic. The pieces are finally here. Now comes the hard part, because having the pieces and actually winning are very different things. So what do you think? Do the Cavs have a real chance to make the finals this year? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this.